Welcoming you to the world of sports. This is Sports Updates on Trust TV. And as the name implies, this is where we get to update you about the latest happening in the world of sports, both locally and internationally. And like the practice is here, the culture is, we always start with local news. And straight we'll dive into that local news as we take the story about two clubs that have been suspended by the NLO. NLO suspend Campus FC and AFC indefinitely. These two clubs have been suspended indefinitely by NNL and NLO just because, their scoreline, the scoreline in the game that, took place between those two seems to be suspicious. And because of the suspicion, NLO conducted a discreet investigation where they discovered that there are some discrepancies and some irregularities that has to do with match fixing and corruption, which is why the NLO decided to suspend these particular clubs from the league. And also, not just the club alone, but its entire players are not allowed to participate for any other club. Neither are the officials of the club. And that hammer of the NLO did not just end up on the players and officials of the two clubs. No, it continued and hammered on the officiating referees and also the match commissioner of that game, all whom have been recommended to step down from the league and never participate in any form of football activities moving forward. All this is done by the NLO in order to clamp down on the rumored match fixing that is happening in Nigerian leagues and bring sanity to the league and make sure that, the worthy winners are winning the game just as it should be. Now, moving away from that stories, we still remain in football. And this time around, we talk about the Conference League, which is slated to happen very soon. The NNL this time around, has declared that the Conference C and D final games are to be played simultaneously. This is also another effort by the NNL in order to make sure that there is no any form of match fixing that is involved. Because when you have a situation whereby some clubs have played and others are waiting for a result, then there could be possibility of bribery in the game, which is not wanted. That is why the Conference C and the Conference D final league games will be held simultaneously, says the NNL. This is a very, very good move by the NNL. We all support this move in order to cure and curb any form of corruption that is, brewing its head in the game so far. Now, moving away from that story, we head straight into the story about Zubairu Aliyu, the coach of the Nigerian under-20, has once again reiterated that his boys will be more calm and will play under less pressure when they take on South Africa. Zubairu promises a more composed Flying Eagles against South Africa. The reason for the lack of composure, the coach attributed to the fact that they had the sight of they had the sight or the plan of qualifying to the World Cup. That qualification to the World Cup, which is the Under-20 World Cup, is the reason why the boys have been playing with tense atmosphere and a lot under pressure. But having done away with that particular goal and achieved it, the boys are expected to perform and do better now when they face South Africa. To go and have a peek of, just to know what to expect from the Nigerian under-20 team, the Flying Eagles. We have highlights of the game between Nigeria and Senegal. That match that Nigeria won on penalties after the game ended in a draw. Let's have a feel of it. A very, very happy Flying Eagles players there as they qualify to the World Cup and also make it to the semi-finals of the Under-20 Nations Cup, and by beating Senegal on penalties. A celebratory mood there for both the players and even we Nigerians that are watching them and hoping that they go further and do better in the game and in the competition and actually win the competition and maybe even do a lot better in the World Cup. Why not? We know how good Nigeria can perform in the age grade football, and we know that they are capable of winning the competition, both intercontinental and continental. Now, still staying with football, we go to the story about the very, very famous Nigerians, two of them females this time around. Their name is Osinachi Ohale and Chiwendu Ihezwe. They are both the players of Pachuca FC of Mexico. Nigerian stars Ohale Ihezuo helped Pachuca clinch historic Liga MX title. This is a female version of the Senior League of Mexico, the female version being won by players from Nigeria who contributed quite a lot in the final game of the season as they clinched the trophy. Not just winning the league, they've tried to win this league for a couple of times, before Pachuca trying to win it. 2017 they did try, 2022 they knocked on the door. They did same 2023, but were not able to get to win the trophy. However, persistence brings result, and this time around in the year 2025 they have just clinched the trophy and have won it after a long time not winning it, with the help of two Nigerians that were very, very happy, posting with pictures carrying the trophy. Ihezuo and Chiwendu both contributed their quota, and not just the two of Nigerians that have been notable in that club. Another player who has immensely contributed to the win of this league is the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper of Pachuca FC. Her name is Estefany Berares. She was named the MVP of the competition. When a player like a goalkeeper winning an MVP, that tells you the amount of effort she has put, the amount of saving she has done for Pachuca. Congratulations to her, and congratulations to the two Nigerians that have also participated and won this competition for the first time. Now, another story coming from Europe is about Arokodare. His name is Tolu Arokodare. He's a Nigerian striker that plies his trade with Genk in Belgium. The striker has done quite well this season, scoring 20 goals. Now, the story says Arokodare dedicates Ebony Shoe Award to Nigerians. Ebony Shoe Awards actually represent the Golden Boot as we have it in other competitions in other countries. This player has scored 20 goals this season to be crowned the highest goal scorer of the Belgian league. He came into limelight in 2023 and has been doing so well for the club. However, the amount of goals he scored this season unfortunately was not enough for RC Genk to actually win the league. However, they are up there performing and making sure that they keep up and try to end at the possible best they can. Not taking away anything from the Nigerian Arokodare, who scored 20 goals this season. And still on Arokodare, we're going to see a highlights of his game and his goals, and try to understand the kind of player that he is, because a lot of Nigerians do not watch the Belgian league. So therefore, maybe we should use this opportunity to try to feed our eyes and understand and see Arokodare in action. Then we'd understand the kind of talent that Nigeria Super Eagles has at hand. Now, if we can have that video so that Nigerians will get to see Arokodare do his thing. What a player we have in our hands. The Nigerian national team should invite Arokodare. Maybe he can come in as a substitute for Victor Osimhen, because this is a wonderful, very strong, physically fit striker that knows how to score goals with both his hands and with his head. So this is not easy to score goals with both hands and head, but he does that. Congratulations to him as he wins the the Golden Boot of the Belgian league. Now, still on Arokodare, he is a player that has been considered to be the best African player in Belgium. So his award does not just end with the Golden Boot. He also has been named the best African player in the Belgian league. He won this award ahead of his compatriot Frank Onyeka, and even his co-African Zakaria Wadadi. This player has been wonderful this season, winning awards and now winning also the best player in the Belgian league. Congratulations to Arokodare. Tolu Arokodare, that's his name. Congratulations to him. Now, moving away from the story of Tolu Arokodare, we'll now move on to another striker. The Super Eagles' main striker, Victor Osimhen, is talking about winning the league up there in Turkey. Victor Osimhen set sights on first trophy with Galatasaray. Having joined the team from Napoli on loan for this season, the striker has scored 33 goals in 38 games. This is a wonderful return from a player who has never been to Turkey before, only for the first season to score this amount of goals. And these goals that he has scored has propelled Galatasaray and positioned them to be in the verge of winning the Turkish league. They have a game to play against Trabzonspor, and if they should win that game, they would win the Turkish league, and that would be a big, plus for Victor Osimhen, who is looking for a bigger team to go and play come next summer. However, this season, Osimhen has done his very best already and is poised to, go on with his team today and try to make sure that they win the last match that is remaining that would, grant them the trophy down there in Turkey. Now, also, let's go to, see some goals that Victor Osimhen have been able to score for Galatasaray and try to understand why he is rated one of the best strikers in the world and the best striker in Africa as we stand right now. Really, I mean, no disrespect to the Turkish league, no disrespect to Galatasaray, but the player that scores this kind of goals should not be playing in the Turkish league. He should be very, very far away from the Turkish league and maybe plying his trade in Spain or England or one of those big clubs in the world. And hopefully Victor Osimhen gets to get that move and actually, transmit this same energy, these kinds of goals in those big leagues, and maybe you never can tell, the Ballon d'Or, why not? He is worthy of it. He is fully deserving of it. If he should be doing this, if this was a player doing this in another big club, he would be talking about, or his name would be mentioned in the Ballon d'Or as we stand. Now, moving away from the story of Victor Osimhen, let's talk about Manchester City. Man City, have been through a rough patch this season, and they have identified a player that would help them come out of that patch, and that player is none other but Reinders. Reinders is a player that plies his trade with AC Milan, and he has been very, very much phenomenal this season, scoring 13 goals and having 5 assists for AC Milan. And he's not a striker, he's just a midfielder, a box-to-box midfielder for that matter, who has been able to score goals, all along the season. Therefore, he has caught the eyes of Pep Guardiola, and right now as we stand, rumors has it that Man City, has made him a target in order for him to come and play for them up in England next season. Now, will that, materialize? We'll watch out as the summer transfer window opens and lots of movement begin to happen even before the Club World Cup. The brief opening of the window, a lot of players will make signings, hoping to, beef off themselves for the Club World Cup. And also after the Club World Cup, the regular transfer season continues and ends September. Will this player turn out to be a Man City player in the future? We'll all wait and see. But it will be very, very fascinating, and it will make the English league even more competitive. Now, moving away from that story, we talk about Arsenal. Arsenal Football Club have been without a striker for 2 or maybe 3 seasons now. They have not had a very much straight up striker, a center forward. They have been playing players out of position, and even the player that looked like the number 9 has not been able to stay away from injury. I'm talking about Gabriel Jesus, who has been injured at one point of his career or the other while playing for Man City and even playing for Arsenal. Now Arsenal have identified Victor Gyokeres as a possible target, as a replacement, as a standout 9, an out-and-out 9 that would come and, play for the club come next season and, help them to maybe, try to win something, as they are considered not to have won any trophies for a long time now. Victor Gyokeres, we know, have scored also 36 goals as it stands, and he has 7 assists for 47 goals, I beg your pardon, and 7 assists for Sporting Lisbon down there in Portugal. Can he come and replicate that in the Premier League, or is he going to be another Darwin Núñez of Liverpool? We all wait to see what happens with that transfer. However, let's just have a sneak peek, a short one, of his goals that he has been scoring for Sporting Lisbon. We'll be right back. What a goal-scoring striker right there. Victor Gyokeres scored a lot of goals, 47 goals in one season. I mean, that's insane. And the season is not over yet in Portugal, with maybe 1 or 2 matches left for them to play. And they are at the verge of winning the Portuguese league. If they should be able to win their next game against Vitoria, that would award them the league, and that would be a very big reward for all the goals that Victor Gyokeres has been able to score this season, both in the league and the Champions League and the cup there in Portugal. A very good player that player is. Now, moving away from that story, we still stay still talk about Arsenal's transfer, and in this case, there's a bit of disagreement between the new sporting director Andre Barta and Arteta, who is the manager of Arsenal Football Club, because there is a preference for a player that Arteta prefers Benjamin Sesko of Leverkusen. Meanwhile, of Andre Barta, who is the sporting director, prefers Gyokeres of Sporting Lisbon. Right now, there is a bit of a tussle, rumored tussle between Arteta and Andre Barta. A lot of Arsenal fans, are wondering why would Arteta prefer a player, a 22-year-old that is not fully ripe yet, scoring only 13 goals, over a player that is fully ripe and has scored lots of goals, 47 goals. That is left to be seen. Who gets to be the Arsenal number 9 come next season? However, the two players, are very good players, and nothing should be taken away from even Benjamin Sesko, who has been doing quite well, in the league for 2 seasons now in a stretch. That's a very good one to be able to, keep up with goal scoring for 2 seasons. Though those goals may not be as much as the goals that, the player Gyokeres have scored, but he still is a very good striker. And that brings us to the end of the show, and it was a good time, with you, and hoping that you get to do this with me tomorrow. Have a good day. My name is Joseph Peter. See you another time.